Pat Skerry. And coaches, welcome.
Thanks, Ben. Glad to be here.
So let's start with our first topic, life. Since March 12th, everything gets shut down. And Coach Ambrose, starting with you, what kind of was that? I mean, you were, what?
It's all choppy, man. I'm going to try to log in the phone.
Spring ball.
Well, it's been kind of crazy.
Pat Skerry and coaches, welcome.
Thanks, Ben.
No.
Glad to be here. Ben, glad to be here.
So, hey, they should jump on the chat and just say hi to everyone.
Coach Ambrose,
life
since
you know what I mean?
March 12th for you. You were 2 practices in the spring ball, and it gets pulled. The plug gets pulled. What was that meeting like? What was that everything like with that?
That was crazy. Honestly, it was one of the oddest things I've ever been a part of professionally. We went from having a plan, having an idea what we were doing for the spring, working to get better, actually having a great spring in all facets. And we had concentrated on becoming professional remote learners. And for anybody who's ever taken a remote learning class, like some people it doesn't appeal to them. That's not their learning style. And that they want to be in a brick and mortar situation. They need interaction between a professor and themselves on a regular basis in that close-knit kind of environment. And now we didn't have any choices. We had to get this done as it is. So I'm proud to say that being one of the most challenging aspects of the spring, we had the greatest single semester as a football team in recorded history academically with over a 3.1 GPA. So a lot of credit to my staff, the academic staff, the position coaches, but really the kids that they have. We preach fighting through adversity, and toughness is doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, no matter the circumstances. And our guys did that. They really did a great job.
And Coach Skerry, I know we were having a little bit of a technical difficulty with you just now, but what was March 12th like? I mean, you guys have just finished your season. COVID happens and everything gets pulled. So what was that conversation, any conversation with your team like, and how has life been since March 12th?
Would have been a smarter move. It's been. There's no script for it. We were home for over 100 days. We had end-of-season meetings, and the last one was with Nick Timberlake, and he showed me an email that said school was closed and whatever the next day. So it's a little bit of a free-for-all from there. Everyone wants to get back. We have an unbelievable university, a great place to work at. You miss being around your student athletes day to day. I'm in the best shape, Ben, I've ever been in, man. I've been lifting, I've been on Peloton every day, walking. So I'm ready. I'm ready to make a comeback.
And you mentioned day to day, starting with Coach Skerry. Now day to day meetings. Rob, you're getting close to what will be training camp. So starting with Pat, day to day Zoom meetings are now a big thing. We've had them as a department. How is that going? And what are you trying to do to keep the kids fresh instead of just always every day staring into their computer screen?
Yeah, that's hard. We've done like a weekly Zoom meeting. Then we have a small group one where we've tried to do some film stuff. A weekly one, we bring in speakers. As a staff, we have our every other day we get together. We've tried to get with a lot. We've gotten together with about 35 different staffs just to try to get better at some basketball stuff, trying to use that time wisely. But it's hard. I mean, look at there's a lot of guys. I'm sure Rob feels the way. A lot of our guys are back playing. They're back in parks and gyms, and these guys have gone stir crazy. They want to get back to work.
Coach Ambrose, same thing for you. Now day to day, you guys are getting a little bit closer. Obviously, with the players getting ready to report. What's that like? What's life been for you through Zoom meetings and up until now?
Well, I've never spent so much time in front of a computer screen in my life. Seriously, I'm a people person, and I didn't know what Zoom was before this started. So we're still in meetings. Actually, our guys are wind down after a really rough final, tough academic semester, taking a little bit of time off, and now they're just doing what we've been doing before, finding creative ways to stay in shape. They said the best way to stay in shape is never to get out of it. And here we're not on campus. We don't have Coach Lima hands-on working with our guys and strength conditioning staff. So we have broken into small tap teams that we had carried over from the spring. And we have never done. We do it all spring. It's a competition, and nothing changed. It really helped us stay together as a team. The smaller teams being responsible for the bigger picture, mandating communication between each other. So instead, try it like this. Normally, you'd be in the locker room and you might see a guy, and he's your teammate, but the circumstances you don't cross paths too much. But because of the way we've done this little draft thing, an offensive lineman and a safety are the winners of our TAP team in the spring, and that communication has really made us better as a team. So now we're all just kind of treading water, just ready to go. Somebody tell us we can come back. Please let us tell us we can come back. And we're running back, all of us. Nobody wants to get back there more than me, but there's a line of kids that are fighting me for that spot.
And, of course, the other part of your job is getting new Tigers to come on to campus and getting commitments and recruiting. Coach Skerry, we've seen a handful from you over the last month or so. What's recruiting been like, Coach Skerry, over this process and not really being able to go watch kids in a gym or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. We've watched more tape than we've ever watched, and staff's done a good job. We've got some really good, I think, virtual presentations. But I will say, I think we had a really good spring. We've added some guys that we're going to try to get to help us right away, especially some older guys. So we're really excited about that.
Your team to come back, but how has recruiting been for you through COVID-19 and Zoom, in the world of Zoom?
Incredibly difficult. Part of a big part of our evaluations are in-person evaluations, and especially in high schools with coaches and guidance counselors and principals and any stakeholder in a young kid's life. We're going to bring them to Towson, and they're going to represent the university forever. So the vetting process is pretty deep for us. At least we try to be. And there's a lot you can pick up on film, but without that personal interaction, it's hard. So for the freshmen that will be seniors this year and graduate, the next class, we've been pretty slow. We know who they are. We've seen a ton of film. We're talking to them when we can, but it's just not the same. And at some point in time, something's going to have to give, because you can't just virtually go to college and be a hands-on athlete. So the contradiction of the two things eventually is going to have to collide. But still have a lot of guys that are deeply interested, thanks to some of the work that you've done and some of the people the university's done, that our virtual tours have been exceptional. And we've raised the bar all across the board on how people are able to see our university while not being here in person. But again, there's never going to be a substitute for in-person anything.
And as we, of course, in person, that's the big question. And we hope to see everybody inside Johnny Unitas Stadium and CQ Arena, respectively, for your two spots. And season tickets, I do believe we have. We're hoping. We've had so many technical difficulties today. We think we have two videos here for you to get you excited to purchase to come see your Tigers. Let's roll the tape.
Tigers, one of the fiercest predators in the jungle, most commonly hunt alone. But from time to time, a group of tigers hunt together.
Crusher coming from the outside, and down he goes!
There's only one word to describe it: an ambush.
Brought down by a gang of tigers!
Looking to throw. Oh my, absolutely belted!
Saturdays at Johnny Unitas Stadium, the hunt is on.
Dive into the end zone, touchdown!
This is an open invitation for Greater Baltimore to rise up, make the U the wildest place in town.
Raises, touchdown, Tigers!
Come get up close and personal with the Towson Football Tigers as they battle for the CAA crown. What we can achieve together is far greater than what we can do alone. We are Towson. We are Baltimore. And united, we roar.
through three at the buzzer. Good. Flips it to Thompson for the slam dunk. And there's a steal at midcourt by Timberlake. He'll slam it home. Gray gonna drive, slams it home. Gibson gonna drive to put up a floater high off the glass.
And so there you have it. Hope get the blood pumping a little bit. Hope to see you guys inside the U and CQ arena. And Coach Ambrose, start with you. Give us a pitch. You know, I know you haven't seen your new team yet, and you're getting ready to get them back on the field. But what has you excited, and why should people come out to Johnny Unitas Stadium to see the Tigers?
Microphone here. It's always been high entertainment value for your dollar. I've said that for over a decade now, and that's really been the honest God truth for every sport we play at this institution. That our kids play their faces off. They really play for each other. It's impressive. But for me, listening and being away from these kids for such an extended period of time, not having them in my office, not having them cycling through the building, the conversations that I hear, the way I hear them talk now, it's a different attitude. It's hard work being a Division I athlete. It's extremely hard. You have two full-time jobs. You need to be a full-time student, and to be good at that takes a lot of effort. And to be a full-time athlete, and that's your second job, that's even harder. You have to eat right, sleep right, to fit these two things together all the time. And it's a lot. And some guys wear the weight of that. And sometimes it feels like an obligation. But we've been away so long that all I can hear in the tone of their voice is just give me an opportunity to play the game I love. Give me an opportunity to be with my brothers. Give me an opportunity to represent the institution that believed in me. And they just want their life back. So I purely expect at the time when they uncage us, so to speak, I really believe our kids are going to have a tremendous attitude, and a positive attitude carries over to everything you do.
Early bird deadline for football season tickets is July 1st. And Coach, real quick, Coach Ambrose, the crowd at Unitas, I mean, I remember it from my time as a student. It makes a big difference when that place is jumping.
Oh, gosh. Oh, no question about it. This has been a standard, especially in football, that across the board and in the CAA, each coach tells me the same thing. And I've been around long enough to see multiple coaches at the same institutions, and they all say the same thing. Your fans are the biggest difference-making fans in the entire league. That when they're brutal on the opponent, they really are. They're loud. They give our guys energy, and they make a difference in a ball game. So I don't know the rules of how we're going to do this, but I can tell you that it's going to be a good seat, and it's going to be high entertainment value.
And now Coach Skerry, I mean, we had a couple of really good atmosphere games inside CQ Arena, and you could feel the difference. What's that like for you as a coach on the sideline when the team's rolling really nice and the crowd gets into it, they're on their feet? I mean, like Coach Ambrose said, that has to be a huge difference maker for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's always a difference maker, especially at home with the energy of the crowd and revs guys up defensively. You know, I've told you a lot. I really like our guys. We have really good disposition to them, especially the handful that played a lot coming back. And we're excited about the guys we had sitting out. You know, local guy and Beatrice Mims, and we'll get Solomon back on the court, and then his brother Victor. We've never had a 7-footer that can move like that. So, coming from USC, we're excited about him and love our new guys. Our guards are good, Allen and Holland, and we just got a good 6'10" guy committed last week. We're going to try to get him on the floor. So, got to get the guys back. You got to get them back, get them going, get the arena jumping, get the school going, right? Sports going. That's what it's about.
And you did a little bit of it right there, Coach, but give me a sales pitch. Give the fans watching a sales pitch. Why should fans get their tickets to come see the Tigers inside CQ? And season ticket for basketball go on sale July 6th. So, Coach, your sales pitch.
Yeah, they're going to play hard. They're going to guard, and they're going to play for each other. We expect to have another good team. You know, our goal, obviously, is to kick the door down and, cut the nets, win the championship. Our guys are well aware, Ben. We've had the most top 3 finishes in the conference the last 8 years. I think we have a good enough group to kick the door in there.
And before we get to our next segment, I just want to remind the fans now, start submitting your questions. If you haven't already, we'll try to get to as many as we can. So start submitting your questions into the chat as we get into this next segment, which is season expectations. Coach Skerry, for you, expectations. You lose Brian Favre, Dennis Tunstall. Dennis, a pillar of this program. He was here forever, it felt like. Obviously, Nakai Sanders as well. And your expectations for your team when you hit the court.
Yeah, get better. We got to keep getting better. You know, it's always a process. You know, we'll guard and rebound. That's what we do, and we had the best offensive team we've ever had. Hopefully that continues. You know, I'm really excited. Normally, guys take big jumps from year one to year two. We had 3 freshmen in Gibson, Timberlake, and Thompson that had big roles for us. So, you know, we're with the football coach, and he'd tell you we have a really good quarterback. So whenever you have that, you feel excited about coming at the end. This year we should have a couple of them because we have a good grad guard and Cam Allen too.
And Coach Skerry, you mentioned Gibson, Timberlake, and Thompson. Gibson, all-rookie team, and Timberlake, 6th man of the year. Talk about that big jump. What is that big jump? What are you looking from those 3 guys on the court and off the court to be able to take that next step and become a better player?
One, that using their voice more. You know, they know what it takes to be successful student athletes. Sometimes guys are a bit timid their first year. Really putting their imprint on the team and their teammates on a daily basis. That always makes the coaching job easier when you have a player-led team.
And Coach Ambrose, expectations for you, obviously a tough year last year, ending not the way any of us wanted to see it end. There are holes on this roster that I'm sure will be filled. There are guys returning who we'll get to see back, guys like Ricky DeBerry, Shane Simpson, Jabari Allen. What are your expectations for your Tiger team as they take to the new turf inside Johnny Unitas Stadium?
Well, one, I expect us to be healthy. I think the karma wheel spun long enough, and we don't need any more, season-ending injuries. But other than that, our young team and the returners that will be older juniors or seniors now. I've never had that many offensive linemen return ever in the history of my career. I've never had that many returning linemen, period, on a team. So it all starts up front. I'm very proud of the work that these kids have done, but I'm more proud of their attitude. That this COVID thing has allowed us to communicate with each other and mandate a degree of responsibility if we're going to be who we say we're going to be. And the distractions of a normal day at school and all the things that go on in our cool campus aren't there. And all they see is what we haven't done. The expectations is to win the whole darn thing. And we talk about that all the time. But why'd you get up in the morning if it wasn't to win the whole thing? Whatever it is that you're trying to be great at. That should be the expectation without fail. And the circumstances are what they are. I guarantee you this will probably be the most challenging football season in the history of college football anywhere. That there's a whole bunch of unknowns with this, everything that's going on right now, and that it's going to be a challenge. But we're going to, just like everything else, we're going to tune those challenges out, stay focused on the goal, and make the important thing the important thing. Communication, leadership, and responsibility to each other has never been at a greater level in that locker room. The locker room they're not even in. And the fact that we have been able to do this in this circumstance, my expectations are high, extremely high, and rightly so. I want to be in the playoffs every year, and it's about time we hang a national championship banner around here, and it's got to get done. So expectations are high. That's the way it's supposed to be. And set the bar high, and everybody go get it.
All right, and we'll move into questions from the crowd now. So I'll have to switch over. So coaches, excuse me if it feels like I'm not paying attention to you. I am. So the first one I see here, Coach Ambrose, you actually just talked about it a moment ago with the offensive line. Coach Ambrose, lots of experience on the offensive line. Will they be pushed by younger players or guys who might have redshirted last year? Is there going to be competition, or do you feel like your line is set there?
Oh, I think there's always competition. It's what you do. Yes, what you did yesterday doesn't really matter. We got to start over again today. The good news is we have a great core of guys. We played 7 or 8 guys last year that made it through the whole season up front because we missed Bryant and with a knee injury in camp, and bringing him back for his last year, or possibly not his last year. We just took the deepest, most experienced offensive
It looks like Rob, we got you back now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if I got a core group of 7 or 8 players that have the most amount of playing experience they've ever had, and pretty successful offensive experience, and then I'm adding another veteran, not a young guy, to the group. I also have a group of young kids who got a little taste of what it means to be an offensive lineman at Division I level last year, and I agree with Pat. These kids make their greatest jump between year 1 and year 2. So here I'm taking a great group of guys who are experienced, talented, and successful, and they're going to be pushed by a bunch of guys who are going to be talented and successful. So best of both worlds up front offensively might be, as long as we can stay healthy, knock on wood, this is a really good circumstance.
And Coach Skerry, a lot of the questions, there's a handful of questions that are all around the same theme for you about your transfers. I'm just going to kind of sum them up this way. Who's eligible and what are you expecting from those? Tell us a little about the transfers. Let's do it that way.
Yeah, obviously, Big Victor sat out, from USC. We touched on him. He's 7-footer. He's going to make a major impact for us, we think. And obviously, Demetrius Mims from Poly Prep, Long Beach State, sat out. So those are 2 that sat out. Expecting them to be able to step in right away for us. And then we had 3 guys we signed in the spring. Cam Allen, a grad point guard from Cal State Bakersfield. He's really, really fast, ball pressure, dynamic with the ball. We expect him and Gibson to play a lot together and also to manage that position. We'll slide Dot into the 2. And then we signed 2 other ones. Curtis Holland from High Point University, averaged 13 a game there. And then the Mactar guy, 6'10" kid from UAB. We will explore the possibility of getting waivers to get those guys both on the floor immediately if we can. And we feel very good about making that happen.
Okay, and this next question, we'll keep it on the hard court with you, Coach Skerry. A question actually from Steve Molesky from Masson, a Towson alum. Any chance with the changes in budgeting and things like that you're going to play more Baltimore area schools this year?
No, you know what? I don't know if we're supposed to announce, but whatever. We're playing down. We are going to play in the Veterans Day Classic on national TV. So that's an extra local game down at Navy's campus. We're going to play St. Joe's there. But we got obviously UMBC. We're going to play again. But no, we've lost some of the local series. We'd love to have them. It just hasn't worked out for. We don't buy games. A couple of the schools are trying to get bought, and a couple just aren't playing. But we'll play UMBC. I think you'll find 11 of the top 50 scheduled nationally in non-conference, so it'll be pretty competitive.
We heard about Coach Skerry's new players, some first-year guys for you. Who are the new players, the freshmen incoming, or even transfers maybe, do you think that we can expect a lot from, or who you're excited to see on the field?
Well, the number 1 spot's a quarterback spot. That losing Tom is a big deal. And Pat said it, having a point guard, having a quarterback, you really don't have a chance of success without a good one. And you look at throughout our league and throughout the country, and the teams that are most successful are the guys that have consistent winners at the quarterback or point guard position. While you may have read something officially, I can't say, but we've worked very hard to shore up that spot. I think Jeff Miller's done a great job in the offseason. Ryan Stover's coming back for a senior year. So I think there'll be some competition at that position that will be a good plug and play no matter where we end up. Offensively, we're returning so many good players that we've just been deep. And, guys have been forced because of injury along the way to step into roles ahead of time and now pay dividends towards the end of their career. We've picked up a safety who's a transfer whose name I can't quite say it either because there's some rules involved with this. And there's at least 1 or 2 that we're talking to. This is unlike any for the recruiting cycles and how you go about doing this. This is unlike any year in history since the transfer portal's been open, in that these guys didn't have spring ball to get evaluated. They were at their own institutions fighting for a starting spot, and maybe they were going to get it, maybe they weren't, and that was going to determine what their future plans were, and that didn't happen. So there's still movement. There's going to be a whole lot of sunlight shined on the shadows of what might happen. You guys know that I always use the term "player to be named later." Yeah, pretty much guarantee we'll have one or two of them.
And Rob, you kind of mentioned it, and there was another question about losing Tom Flacco. They broke the mold when you talk about a guy like Tom, everything that he's able to do. Is the offense going to go under any sort of change that you can talk about or see that now that you don't have a guy who's an athlete that Tom is?
You kind of be crazy if you're trying to fit round pegs into square holes. So we're going to take the skill level and the abilities of the guys that we have, and we're going to meld our offense, defense to their skill set. So we could be a little bit, even you paid attention last year because of after we had actually played Delaware, and they clearly have all of the signals, we huddled. And we hadn't huddled in, 15, 18, 20 games. And we ran more plays and were more efficient offensively than we were in 18 to 20 games. So we decided as a staff to use both of those weapons. Our ability to do both of those is clearly an advantage that most people don't have. That they huddle or they don't huddle, and they try to go fast or they don't go fast. And we have the ability to do both, and we do it well, easily. So I think that's a bullet in the gun that we'll have that most people won't. And if you really want the details, get yourself a season ticket.
Coach Skerry, question for you. Once players are allowed back on campus with social distancing and all those things to take into consideration, what kind of drills, and Rob, actually, after Coach Skerry goes, I want to hear it from you too. What kind of things can you do workout-wise to try to protect against that? Will it be smaller groups, individual workouts? Coach Skerry, starting with you.
So the NCAA has said we can come back July 20th and start workouts with our guys, hands-on stuff. So I know our administration is working hard to make that happen for us. We normally spend a lot of time on skill work in the summer anyhow, so I would imagine smaller groups, whether it's footwork, shooting, ball handling type of stuff, and just kind of rotating guys between the weight room and then onto the court. So that piece I don't think will change a whole lot. But it's a valuable time when you talk about making strides and getting better and competing for championships. The summer is a crucial piece in developing. Even if it's going to be a shorter summer, it's still a crucial piece to get guys better.
And Rob, same question to you. Obviously, it's a little bit different with you play 11 on 11. It's a little harder. But has that been a conversation amongst you and the staff?
Oh gosh, yes. It will be an ongoing, never-ending conversation until something outside of us changes. That the goal is to keep these kids safe all the time, and that's our goal every day. And circumstances be damned, our goal is to keep our kids safe. But here we got to do it. We got to do what we do under this umbrella, and it's going to be a challenge. I joke about traveling to another institution to play football games like moving the Russian army. That you have to get all these people and all this equipment and all this food. They have to feed. They have to be fed. And it's difficult. It's extremely difficult. And how do you social distance 100 human beings? You say 22 players on the field at the same time in the same space. So what we knew in March when this started isn't what we knew in May. And what we knew in May isn't what we know now. And what we now know won't be the same as what it is September 1st. So for us, we're going to have to be incredibly flexible, incredibly smart. I've sent out emails so I can get every locker room space that exists in the building if nobody's going to be around, just so our guys don't have to sit next to each other for that part. But the challenges for this are innumerable, and that's before the new ones show up. So, get a low base, pay attention to the science, listen to our medical people, take care of our kids, be responsible towards each other, and we'll find a way to get this done. But for us right now, it's get them back, get them medically cleared, get them educated on how to stay as safe as they can stay, and then get their feet back underneath them as Division I football players, which is a challenge. They've been home for a while. So some guys got to eat more. Some guys got to eat less. Some guys got to work out more, differently. And it's going to be a challenge. Like I said, it's going to be unlike any other year, but it's going to be fun. Challenges are what you live for, I guess.
Rob, another question for you from the crowd. Guys who are coming back from injuries and the loss of that spring period for them as a rehab period. Obviously, Nathan Wilder and Justin Lima do a great job with the kids. How slowly or how cautious are you with some of those kids who are coming back from those injuries? And what do you have to do to kind of bring them up to speed safely?
Well, I think you just said it. I need to be intelligently cautious. That we have some of the best medical staff on the planet, and I'm just going to be really intelligent and listen to them. That some of these guys, it's not like they stopped rehabbing. They didn't do it here, and they didn't do it the same way they would do it here. So we had a goal. We have to get to the end of the semester. We have to have a high GPA. To get the semester, we need to not go backwards and hopefully go forwards in our strength and conditioning. We need in health in our rehab. So whether we had all the tools or not, the goal is still the same. We still need to get there. So these kids have been creative, and our staff has been creative on how to keep the rehab process going so they're not falling behind and they are ready to play. And I'm incredibly confident in what these kids have done. I think when we get our guys back on July 6th, that first week is all medical, and I will know a lot more then. But I believe our guys have done a great job so far. Looks
like the questions are slowing down just a little bit, but I have a question that I'm curious for you guys. How have you two been handling quarantine outside of work? Anything you're binge watching or reading? What have you been doing to stay busy? Start with Coach Skerry.
It's been good to be around family, obviously. Sometimes as a coach, you travel, you miss out on some of that stuff. So my oldest son work out a lot out in the driveway. I've seen him make some good strides. I told you, man, I've been on my Peloton like crazy. The other little thing I had never done, a lot of my players have told me to watch these Marvel movies. So I've got into watching the Marvel movies. I'm almost done with them. I thought I'd be back in the office by then. So hopefully it's going to coincide.
Who's your favorite Marvel superhero so far?
I like Hulk. I like the aggressiveness of the size of him. Good physicality. He'd be a good guy to blitz the quarterback with on third down.
Be a good rebounder too.
He would be, yes.
Rob, what about you? What have you been doing to stay busy or binge watching?
Well, the best joke I heard was, I guess by the time you got to May, some guy said, day whatever of COVID, I finished Netflix. I'm not going to go that far, but I've actually seen more Netflix than I had seen in the years since Netflix was created. I'm with Pat. I had a bike, and I don't think I've ever ridden this on a bike in my life. And I have a decade worth of neglected yard that you would think I'd lived in, somewhere bad, the trailer park, I don't know. And I now have grass, and the stuff is trimmed back, and it's mulched, and I look like I actually live here. And agreed, like I got to spend some time with my family that I don't normally get to spend, and it's been an eye-opening experience for me. It's been a little bit life-changing, and not necessarily in a bad way. So you make the best of every circumstance. And Pat, I already see it. I got teenage kids, man. I've seen all that Marvel movies. They're awesome.
Who's your favorite?
Oh gosh, the kids would joke around when the movies started coming out as to which character I was or was more like. And my daughter compared me to Captain America because I was like Johnny Do-Good kind of guy. And then my son goes, yeah, until you make him mad, and then everybody knows he's the Hulk. So. Take a little bit.
Well, I want to. I know I texted you about it. Our old friend Zach Maskovich reached out to me to let me know that he thinks you would look pretty good dressed up as Joe Exotic from Tiger King.
Are you talking to me or Pat?
I'm talking to you.
All right.
Zach Maskovich said it, not me.
I'm a find where Junior's working. Really, Joe Exotic? Okay. My wife wants me to be that for Halloween.
Well, there you go. Guys, I want to thank you again for sticking with it. We had the technical difficulties. Appreciate you both giving us some time today.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Hope to see you guys soon.
And thank you, Tiger fans, for head coach Rob Ambrose. And head coach Pat Skerry, sorry. I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us today on the Towson Sports Network. We hope to see you inside Giant United Stadium and CQ Arena, but most of all, we hope everyone stays safe and healthy as from Towson Athletics. And again, for Coach Skerry and Coach Ambrose, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.